without going into this slide, can you think of, about a contract which many of us have entered into in our personal lives? So I see, maybe when I go to the next slide, you will come to know that, there is a big similarity between a contract definition and our personal life. So the as per the correct understanding of the contract, this is the definition of a contract. So it is a legally binding agreement. Legally word is very important. It has to be, honored by a court of law between two or more parties. It can be a bipartite agreement. Can be a tripartite, or more parties can be there, that recognizes and governs the rights and duties of the parties. Rights and duties. Contract is legally enforceable because it meets the requirements and approval of the law. In case any contract is signed, as you know very well, if anybody, violates from the contract conditions, the other party can take them to court. And the second point is the contract in terms of enforceability includes an offer, an acceptance as consideration for the exchange, clearly sets out the terms of the agreement without any ambiguity. And the last two lines are very important, that a contract has to be signed by people who are authorized by their companies. Anybody and anyone cannot sign any contract on behalf of the company. So that is basically a definition of contract. Now, a contract should ideally have these elements, offer, acceptance, meeting of the minds, consideration, capacity, legality, and a written document. Now, why I was saying that there is a similarity between the essence of contract and our personal life. See, in many ways, marriage or wedding
Registry marriage.
is a contract. Yeah, the registry comes at the last point, written document. But for any marriage, there is an offer, and there is acceptance, then meeting of minds, then consideration. See, everything applies to the marriage, which, we are very familiar in our day-to-day life. So now these are the various contract frameworks. I think you have heard about FIDIC, FIDIC, that full form I have written. It's a French language which means International Federation of Consulting Engineers. So I'll just not go by line. It is headquartered in Switzerland, more than 60 membership. And whenever you execute or negotiate any international contract, all international companies follow FIDIC. So whenever you go for any negotiation or a company gets any order on international orders, you have to know FIDIC. And for Indian contracts, normally we follow Indian Contract Act, which is formed in 1872, and mostly whatever contract we are following in India, we are following the Indian Contract Act. And there are some other contracts also, World Bank contract, ADB contract, Development Bank of Japan contract, and there are so on. Now, FIDIC has got different forms, and these forms are represented by different colors. So, like for example, I have given here green, red, yellow, and silver. So, green book, the type of contract also I have written. Different types of contract are represented by the different colors. So, when we talk about, companies now trying to enter EPC business, where Tuaman will be doing the engineering, procurement, and construction, and they will deliver a project which is ready to run. So that applies to the silver book. You can see at the last point where the contractor performs the engineering, procurement, construction to deliver a ready to run facility. So these are basically FIDIC forms. Some of the customers in India, in their contract also, they refer FIDIC. So we should know, whosoever is handling the contract, he should know about the FIDIC conditions. Now, what is a contract management? You can just read it out. It's nothing very simple English. It's the process which ensures all the involved parties to fully meet their obligations. When a party sign any document, they are obliged to to honor those conditions. Now, operational objectives means, when a contract is signed, so the objective is to complete the project on time as per specification with quality, and these are the broad parameters. Now, why contract management is important is the risk. Risk is the chance of an event occurring when would cause actual project circumstances. See, when suppose today the business development team, gets a job in 2020 for a say 36 months contract. So nobody can predict, in 3 years time, what will be the situations like. So there is a risk involved in all projects. Like we are facing the risk of pandemic now. Every 3 days in a week, we are breaking our head as to how to claim money from customers, how to handle the labor situation, and so many risks. But when we got these orders, we never thought, we never anticipate that, that this kind of risk can come. So the third point is effective contract management incorporates identifying, monitoring, and managing all risks and opportunities. See, some situation may arise during the pendency of the project, which a very smart contract manager, they can take the advantage of the situation. If he is thorough with the contract, he can take the advantage of the contract conditions and maybe get some money or benefit from the customer. So these are this color is not very clear. See, the y-axis is the probability and the right axis is the type of risk. So risk management, most of the big companies today, they have got a cell called risk management. So there are engineers and commercial people who, assess different types of risks. So when any risk comes in the red zone, so it is very dangerous for the project. So like that, they distribute the risk in 3 zones, 3 or 4 zones: red, yellow, brown, and green. If it is green, it's a manageable risk. So the damage may not be that high. But if it is red, it can be too dangerous for the project and ultimately for the company. So
Sir,
these are the different.
I have a
Bolun.
query. I have a query regarding this slide.
Bolun.
Actually, some of the risk activities are like that. In short run, maybe we don't have such kind of significant effectiveness towards the risk, but in
Yeah.
long run, and it will affect us very badly.
Yes.
So how can it be accommodated into this slide in this graph also?
No, see, that is why risk management, those people who are doing, it's not a one-time job.
Okay.
It's a continuous process. They review, they monitor, they assess, they analyze. See, if a project is supposed 24 months, periodically those people keep on assessing and analyzing the different type of risks.
Okay.
So it's a continuous process. It's not a one time. See, in human life also, different type of risk we encounter at different.
Sarkar Sahib, Hello.
Sarkar, you're not audible.
Sarkar Sahib.
of risk, and we have to mitigate, or we have to now.
Sarkar
This
Sahib.
is one slide, advantages of
Sir,
contract.
sir,
Sarkar
the
Sahib.
last few lines that you said, nothing was being able to be heard. Can you please repeat the last sentence?
Sarkar Sahib, can I ask a question?
Sure, sure.
Actually, risk management is a big subject.
Yes,
I
yes.
want to know in our organization if there is a process of risk management in business development section. We have in quality development section, we have the risk management system, but I want to know risk management applicable to all the processes.
Yes.
In our organization, whether there is a risk assessment system is established in business development or not.
No,
And that I want to know.
What is
That to be clear, sir. Risk management process in business development. This is auditable.
no. What is your question, KKB? I could not get it.
My question is, risk management is a big subject, significant subject.
Yes.
Whether business development is taking care of that or not. So that is auditable. Risk management is
Type of risks.
right, sir.
Now, each risk has got a mitigation plan.
Right.
And those mitigation plans can be of different type. See, one action can be you fix up some cost for that risk. That if the risk comes, so much cost will be incurred. And there may be some risk where you don't incur any money, but you take some out of box actions which will mitigate the risk. So the responsibility of the BD team is to represent different type of risks to the management. And if all risks are built up with cost, then we'll never get any job, because our price will be so high, then we'll not get the job. So it is the responsibility of the management that what are the risks I will take under cost, what are the risks I will take under different actions. So it's a pure management decision. But
Right,
BD team should not hide any risk, because ultimately it will be on the head of the project execution people.
So I think we have to look after all the BD is taking care of or not, whether tactically it is implemented or not.
Yes.
And later on, we have to take it care of.
You see, in Larsen Toubro, if a job value is more than 500 crores, the risk management team has to present the project to the managing director of Larsen and Toubro.
Right.
If he clears, then only they are allowed to quote.
Right.
So risk management is very, very important nowadays.
Sir, it is covering ISO 31,000. So
yes.
We have to, if we want to have a look at the ISO 31,000 or 3110, so we have to implement in the organization. That is a big subject. So you are there, so which we may try.
Yeah, sure, okay. See, others also can ask questions from different sides. Don't feel shy.
Thank you, sir.
Now these are the advantages of.
May I take something?
Hello, Kushikda.
Bolun.
Please.
We do our work for business development for each and every occasion. Participation a tender, for each and every case we identify the risk, undertake a review with PDG, OMG, all for our business to identify potential risk. We assess the risk and prepare our bid accordingly. You say mitigation plan, we do all the
কত কেজি?
কেউ কথা বলছে, ডিস্টার্ব হচ্ছে।
একটু মাইক্রোফোনটা মিউট করে রাখলে ভালো হয়।
Deepsika,
বলুন
please
আপনার-
ask all the person to mute microphone.
Yeah, everybody, can you please mute your microphones if you're not speaking?
হ্যাঁ কৌশিক বলুন।
আমরা
Okay,
এগুলো স্যার
okay.
টেক কেয়ার করি। আমার বলার বক্তব্য এটাই, আমরা আইডেন্টিফাই করি আমাদের রিস্ক প্রতিটা
definitely.
লোকেশনের জন্য, প্রতিটা এর জন্য। এটা আমাদের নর্মাল প্র্যাকটিস। কেকেবি
একদম।
স্যার, কেকেবি স্যার এগুলো আমরা করি।
Documented, right?
আরো
Documented আছে?
কি করে করা যায় সেটা, হ্যাঁ সেটা আপনাদের
Whether it is
সিনিয়ররা আছে।
documented? Hello?
অবভিয়াসলি
না ডকুমেন্টেড নিশ্চয়ই,
We can forward to
ডকুমেন্টেড
the auditor.
নিশ্চয়ই থাকবে।
আমরা অডিটরকে দেখাতে পারি যে আমরা রিস্ক নিচ্ছি, রিস্কের বিডি আমরা বিডি থেকে
আপনি
রিস্কটা
কিভাবে
নিই,
অডিট করতে
মিটিগেট
চাইছেন,
দেখাতে
আপনি
পারবো?
কিভাবে অডিট, স্যার আপনি কিভাবে অডিট করতে চাইছেন? দেখুন আমাদের, আপনি জানেন কি জানেন না জানি না, আমাদের প্রতিটা টেন্ডার একটা ডকুমেন্ট, আপনি বলতে পারেন মেন পার্টি হচ্ছে ডকুমেন্ট। কেন হবে না? পুরো ডকুমেন্ট, টেন্ডার ডকুমেন্ট আমাদের পড়তে হয়।
না, টেন্ডার তো আছে, কিন্তু রিস্কটা
অফার বানানোর জন্য আমাদের একটা ডকুমেন্ট তৈরি করতে হয়, সেটাও একটা ডকুমেন্টেশন।
না হবেই, ওটা করতেই হবে, কেকেবি আমার মনে হয় আছে, ডেফিনেটলি আছে।
অডিট করার জন্য
ঠিক আছে,
কিভাবে চাইছেন ওটা যদি বলে দেন,
ওটা অফ দ্য লাইন আপনি দেখে নিতে
Sir,
পারেন।
Kaushik da,
I've
Kaushik
just
da,
got
offline
another
আমরা
request.
এসব ডিসকাশন করতে
Can
পারি।
I just এক second, Biplab? I was just trying to say that some people who have a meeting at 4 o'clock and they have to leave. So let us have the entire training, the first glance, and
প্রেজেন্টেশনটা
write
করে
down
নিই
our
তারপরে।
question.
এক্স্যাক্টলি
and then we can
প্রেজেন্টেশন
ask
আমি
them
সেটাই বলতে
what
চাইছি
the
বিপ্লব।
first showing all the slides and giving the initial concept is over, then you can please come back with the questions.
শিওর।
হ্যাঁ দীপশিকা, আমি সেটাই বলতে চাইছি, সরকার সাহেবকে প্রেজেন্টেশনটা পুরো করতে দেওয়া হোক,
শেষ করতে
তারপরে
দাও।
আমাদের যা যা বলবার বিপ্লব সেগুলো আমরা বলবো। উনি তো
Exactly.
শুরু করতেই তো সবাই আমরা হামলে পড়লাম না।
না ঠিক আছে।
Okay, we'll wait.
তা চালু করুন, ভালো লাগছে স্যার।
সেকেন্ড লাস্ট পয়েন্ট দুটো, ওল্ড ফ্যাশন অনেক কোম্পানি আছে, there are many companies even nowadays, they do the contract management, that old fashioned way with but there are so many softwares and tools are available today, and if you work with foreign companies, you will come to know that how they manage the contract, because there are so many activities involved, and day by day the project and contract are getting complicated. So it will not be possible for people to manually handle any contract. So they have to follow, or they have to use technology for a effective contract management. And this is the life cycle which everybody knows, initiation stage, engineering, procurement stage, execution stage, and the service delivery means, during that PG test, trial run, everything, and then the closing. Now, these are the different issues involved in the different stages of the contract cycle. Now, this is purely on EPC project I'm talking. So, engineering and procurement stage, you have to look for resource where you will get the engineering from, where you will source the material from, and these are very common terms. Everybody do planning, development, integrate management aspects in the contract. And the last point, according to me, is very important, defining governance responsibilities. See, many things in a project or in a company are of, maybe confidential in nature, or they attract different audit by external agencies. So the governance of a project or a company is very important, especially nowadays, when companies have to declare their financial results every quarter. And during execution stage, all these we do: performance, relationship, contractual risk, financial risk, documents and records, very important. Like, the KKB was asking Kaushik that is it documented? Definitely it is documented. It has to be there. Otherwise, management cannot approve any tender for quoting. And these are the service delivery and contract closure stage. Contract closure is another important area of project management or contract management. And in Indian context, it is one of the most difficult activity which the project managers or contract managers are facing, because we normally very easily get the 90% or 85% of the money, but getting the last 10 or 15% money and the bank guarantees released is, Sanesa is there. Sanesa must be smiling that how much struggle we have to do to get a contract closed. Saving documents for asset management and informing management about the closure, because I have personally handled many contract closures with NTPC or SAIL, and especially with government companies, closing an EPC contract is, something to learn. And you should have a lot of patience to close any contract. If you have any doubt at any point of time, we can address that. Now, these are the contract documents. It's a general list, so there may be one or two addition or deletion, but normally it has, price, schedule, terms of payment, PG parameter, drawings and document submission schedule, special conditions of contract, general conditions of contract, technical specification, safety code, integrity pact. Integrity pact is a relatively new concept which many Indian customers are now including in their contracts. So these are basically the contract documents.
So what is a integrity pact?
Integrity pact means, see, when a contractor is working for a particular customer, so in the contract, there will be some sections where the contractor has to sign that at any point of time during the pendency of the contract, he will not divulge or he will not share any confidential things of the customer to outside. It's sort of a undertaking that we will do a ethical dealing with the customer. That is the integrity pact.
Okay.
So these are the contract documents, and these are basically the key elements of effective contract management. You can just go through. In the following slides, I have discussed about 3 or 4 points of this list. So you can just go through. Suppose, say, first point, planning, information collection and analysis. See, the person who is managing the contract, he should have a thorough understanding of the legislative, regulatory and commercial context of the project. Very important. See, last point also is very, very important. Good contract management is not reactive. See, after something has happened, then I am taking the corrective action. It's not that. The person should have the foresightedness to see that, some problem is coming. So immediately he should take some proactive action to minimize the hit. Like fourth point, potential changes in the project's risk profile. The risk profile, suppose at the beginning of the project, you have drawn a risk profile of the project, but that profile may change during the tendency of the contract. So that is called the planning, information collection and analysis. I think one of the most important phase of contract management. Then comes the contract administration. It requires an understanding of legal, commercial, operating, industry, and community issues. Like, this 2017 service tax excise duty was abolished and GST came. And, the projects, what we got before 2017, and there's a thorough change in tax calculation, in documentation, in risk mitigation, so many things. So it is a very important part of contract management. Last point, it is best practice to prepare a comprehensive contract management manual or administration manual by the project director, which unfortunately, I do not think any Indian company makes such manual. But for a complex international project, I have seen for L&T's project what they executed overseas. They used to have this manual. And the first chapter of the manual was safety. So these are the contract administration. Administration is a part of contract management, and these are the typical notices what we normally give to our customers. Delay in approval. These are all very standard. Our project managers and construction managers, they deal with these type of issues day in and day out, and all are very common things to them. Force majeure. So many things are happening now with force majeure. Delay in payments, unexplained deductions from bills. These are all, comes under contract administration. Construction managers present here, any reaction to this?
We need to keep it interactive. Can we have somebody to speak?
One question is there. What is the basic difference between force majeure and suspension?
Force majeure and suspension. See, there is two different clauses in the contract. Force majeure is, you can say, is the reason, and suspension can be an action. Due to reasons which come under force majeure, customer may declare suspension of the project.
But sir, in some contract, force majeure and suspension of work both are different, and they are using, customers are using these two term in two views. Force majeure, you don't have, neither the customer is having any control over it, and neither the party, subcontractor or contractor,
Yes.
whoever is related with this project, nobody is having any right to claim to each other. This is number one. But in suspension of work, the affected party, maybe contractor, can claim both the cost compensation and time compensation to the customer.
If the suspension is not due to force majeure conditions.
Yeah, definitely, sir. So this is the difference, I think.
Yes.
Now, without keeping the suspension clause, they are in the force majeure condition also. They are telling if work stop due to this condition, this stoppage of work will be called as force majeure condition.
Now, normally, into force majeure conditions are very clearly mentioned in the contract. Normally.
Yeah, it is clearly mentioned. If work stop, discontinued for the say epidemic, say flood, all these things, then this stoppage of the work will be under force majeure.
Yes.
It is there in so many contracts.
Force majeure holeo, most of the contracts, there is a time specified, like say 3 months or 6 months. suppose if this situation continues for 6 months where there is no work, so under that condition also customer can declare suspension of the contract.
That we'll see. That we'll see.
Sir, first point unforeseen. Sir, unforeseen site condition. So
Ha.
there may be a lot of unforeseen site conditions, but how? Definitely, it comes through the number of years experience or gathering of that expertization or technicalities into that field. Definitely, but how
Hmm.
a construction manager, basically
Hmm.
who is available at site? I am talking about RCM, resident construction manager. How
Hmm.
they can adhere this point unforeseen. I think this is very become very vital for us for each and every
Yeah, see,
project.
like I have personally come across a situation in NTPC Bar where excavation was going on for the track hopper, and one very old you know শিবের মূর্তি মাটি থেকে বেরিয়ে এলো। তো যদি এরকম বেরোয় না, then immediately work is stopped. Either you have to divert your construction, মানে drawing সব change হয়ে যায়। So like that, there may be some unforeseen, it is unforeseen for the contractor as well as for the customer also. So there are maybe so many things which cannot be, foreseen when the project starts. এত নয়েজ হচ্ছে কেন? কার মাইক্রোফোন খোলা আছে? Can I go to the next? Can I go to next?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please, sir, please.
Okay. This is also again, claim management, delay claims, variation claims. These are very common. I mean, I don't have to explain anything. And these are the contract closing activities, submission of guarantees as specified in the contract, approval from statutory authorities and government bodies, approval from PMC employer for extra claims, no dues, demobilization checklist, detailed contract closeout report. Very rare report. I don't think many companies, L&T does definitely, but this is, I think, one of the most important, very important report. See, we used to follow in our department a good practice in the sense, whenever we used to complete a project, our boss insisted that the project manager should write a technical article on the project. So, it contained what all problems he faced during the execution of the contract, be it technical, commercial, any type of problems. So we all project managers used to write those technical articles, and it was a sort of a report, and 2-3 articles were published from bulk material handling, which was published from UK. So it's a document. So suppose if similar project comes, so the next project manager can always refer to the earlier document that what all problems came in the earlier project and how it was solved. So many a times, we do project and then we don't look at the papers or drawings of that project. It is always kept in the, either computer or drawer or somewhere. We never refer. Relationship management, very important for getting further orders from same customer. If you fight with customer, you can fight with customer on valid terms, and customer should honor your knowledge on contract. Customer should value your transparency, your professionalism, your commitment to your company. Definitely, they should. Good customers will always appreciate that. But at the same time, one should always develop a very good relationship with the customer, so that they feel confident and comfortable in giving the next order to us. Establish an effective use of communication channels. Is it okay? Clear to all? This is again almost the same thing, project director must have an effective knowledge and information strategy tailored to project's needs. Biplab jeta bolchilen, maintained, periodically reviewed. So all this risk, it has to be periodically reviewed and assessed. So right from the engineering stage up to the closure of a contract, the role of contract manager, contract management people are very, very important for getting the new orders also. And this is a change management. These are all part of that, that slide, key elements of a contract management. Everywhere, you see that changes are properly documented. Documented is very, very important, so that, it becomes an asset to the company for the next projects. Second point, changes are both a source of risk and potential opportunity. As I was telling previously, there may be some changes in the regulatory or legislative changes. If the contract manager is very smart, he can take the advantage of that change and get some benefit from the customer, be it monetary or other means. This is for the training, what we are having it now. See, a project manager, there is a very thin difference between a project manager or project management and contract management, I think I invite opinions from all of you that I think contract management is definitely having a view of the project management, but their knowledge and their ability to look at the project in a more broader perspective is there for a contract management personnel. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
Biplab, bolo.
Right, sir. Actually, most of the cases we used to see the two-way operation system, like exactly what you told, sir. This contract manager is some different person, but whether he used to report that ultimately to the project manager, and that
Yeah.
project management is basically for this schedule, construction schedule, then
Yes, yes.
procurement, engineering and all. But the contract management deals with the contract only, and
Yes.
he used to instruct to the down the level, maybe RCM and all, for actually getting for fulfilling the contractual requirements of the customer and other obligations also.
And
Okay, so
contract management person has a role to play in business development also.
yeah, business development also, right, sir? Right.
Suppose if I go for a tie-up with a foreign company for technical tie-up,
Yeah.
the
Consortium, yes,
formation of the
consortium also.
contract, keeping, I mean, maintaining or protecting the interest of the company is a very, very important thing that only a qualified and professional contract manager only can do.
Yes, yes, right.
So training in contract management is very, very important. If you go to big customers, they are very good project managers, no doubt. In the
Yeah,
beginning
but
of their career, they were definitely project managers. But
yes,
when they reach a position of, say, director or MD, they are very, very thorough about contract.
yes.
Very thorough. So training is very important in contract management. And this is the team of contract management. It can be a small team. And we have discussed about, these things, understanding technical issues, financial issues, legal implications, authority to negotiate, communication. Communication is one of the most important skill of contract management person. Convincing skill, ability to foresee. So whosoever is having, even say 80% of these skills, he can try to be a good contract management person. And I thought these are the suggestions, more applicable for EPC contracts. Proper awareness and training for contract management is essential. You see, I feel, suppose engineering department or site construction managers or say purchase department, whosoever is working for a particular project, say even a purchase person also should be aware about the basic important conditions of a contract. What is the payment terms? What is the delivery time? Basic things, even engineering people also should know.
Even sir, for procurement people, how the transport will be there, transport insurance or all, these also are coming under this contract management, no sir?
Yeah. But transport is not really contract management. What I'm saying is, suppose engineering department is doing engineering for a project, and suppose it's a short delivery project of 12 months, where in 2 months one has to finish the engineering. So, but that 2 months, if it is not there in the mind of the design engineers, they will take their own time in designing. So what I'm saying is all the service departments like purchase, engineering, even site construction managers must go through at least the basic aspects of the contracts. Then, that appreciation and understanding of the contract will be, especially for construction managers, who are meeting customer day in and day out, they should be thorough in contract conditions so that, they can take the advantage of these contract conditions. And this is for such a questions. If you have any questions, I don't think you have time because 4 o'clock Biplav has got a review meeting. So even later on also, if you have any questions, you can mail to Deepshika or me.
Okay, thank
So
you
you
sir.
can mail also to me or Deepshika. We can definitely address.
Yes, thank you sir. Thank you for
Thank
this
you, sir.
session.
ভালো লাগলো।
And one more thing, Deepshika Sarkar, can you please send this PPT to us? Hello.
আমি দীপশিকাকে বলবো, আমি পাঠিয়ে দেবো।
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, all the best.
Thank you, thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.